Arsenal in shock. Dan Ashworth set to shake up the market by confirming Newcastle star as his first target. Meanwhile, Mourinho angers fans with comments on Arteta's target. And to raise the tension, a former Arteta target has just shone in the Champions League, showing exactly what Arsenal still needs to compete at the highest European level. All this and more you can check out now with the top Arsenal news directly from Emirates Stadium. So make sure to like the video and check your subscription so you don't miss any updates. And without further ado, let's get started. With Arsenal on the lookout for a new sporting director, recent reports have suggested that Dan Ashworth could be in line for the role. The club is eager to find the perfect fit after Edu Gaspar's surprising resignation back in early November. Several names have been thrown into the mix, and now Ashworth is among the latest to be linked with a potential move to the Gunners. Ashworth's career took a turn when he left Manchester United after just 5 months at Old Trafford, but not before making a name for himself with successful stints at Brighton and the English FA. His track record in shaping clubs' recruitment strategies and working in high-pressure environments could make him a solid choice for Arsenal, especially as they look for a replacement for Edu Gaspar. So if Ashworth were to step into the role, here's a look at 3 potential players he might target to bolster the squad at the Emirates Stadium. Alexander Isak. Arsenal have been linked with a move for Swedish striker Alexander Isak, who has been turning heads since his move to the Premier League. The Newcastle forward was actually brought to St. James's Park by none other than Dan Ashworth himself, so there's a bit of a history there that could work in Arsenal's favor. The Gunners have struggled to find a consistent clinical center forward who can also make an impact in the physical battles at the top of the pitch. Isak fits that bill, but he won't come cheap. However, if Ashworth were to make the switch to the Emirates, his relationship with Isak could be key in convincing the 25-year-old to make the move to North London. With Isak's contract winding down, there might be an even greater chance that a deal could be on the horizon in the coming months, giving Arsenal hope that they can land this talented striker. Victor Gyökeres. Arsenal are reportedly eyeing striker Victor Gyökeres, who's been making a big impact at Sporting CP, currently topping the scoring charts in the top 5 European leagues. The Swedish forward has a history with Dan Ashworth, but unlike Isak, who was brought in by Ashworth, Gyökeres' story is a bit different. He was actually sold by Ashworth during his time at Brighton. Gyökeres started his career at Brighton but was let go to Coventry City for just £1 million, which in hindsight looks like a missed opportunity. However, Ashworth might have a chance to right that wrong by bringing Gyökeres to Arsenal, potentially adding a powerful scoring option to their front line. Carlos Baleba. Carlos Baleba, one of Brighton's rising stars, is quickly becoming a key player for the Seagulls. His rapid growth on the field suggests he could soon attract the attention of some of Europe's biggest clubs, potentially making him Brighton's next big sale. Given Ashworth's history with Brighton, he could be in a prime position to swoop in for Baleba before other clubs catch on to the midfielder's potential. It's a move that could prove to be a real steal for Arsenal, especially considering the solid relationship the club already shares with Brighton through previous transfers. Jose Mourinho's latest comments will infuriate Arsenal fans in Nico Williams' transfer race. Jose Mourinho, a familiar face for Arsenal fans, has weighed in on the future of Nico Williams, who has been heavily linked with a move from Athletic Bilbao to the Gunners. This came ahead of Mourinho's Fenerbahce team facing Spanish opposition in a European competition midweek. Williams, a young forward with immense potential, has caught the eye of several big clubs, including Arsenal. While a January transfer seems unlikely, it's not entirely off the table, especially with a £50 million release clause in his contract. This could simplify negotiations between clubs, but the real challenge lies in convincing Williams himself to make the move to the Emirates. However, Arsenal's task could be complicated by Mourinho, who with his past at Chelsea, Tottenham, and Manchester United has offered his own thoughts on the situation, possibly adding a bit of pressure to Arsenal's pursuit. Nico Williams has plenty of suitors out there in the transfer market, most notably in La Liga and the Premier League. Whether he can be tempted to leave Athletic Bilbao remains to be seen, though Mourinho has given his verdict on the situation. Speaking ahead of his Fenerbahce side's clash with the Spanish outfit, he said on Williams, "In the Euros, people were all saying, Lamine, Yamal, Yamal, Yamal. He's a wonderful boy, but I personally prefer more of Nico Williams. I hope he ends up at Real Madrid." Whether the 22-year-old would be able to fit in at Real Madrid is unknown, especially given the wealth of forward options already at their disposal. That said, Mourinho's comments may only spur feelings towards a move elsewhere in Spain rather than England, which would certainly annoy those supporters who want him at the club. Arsenal fans want Williams to replace Gabriel Martinelli, after recent reports suggested the Spain international could join to bolster the left flank. If Arsenal were to sign Nico Williams, it could signal the end of Gabriel Martinelli's run as a regular starter, especially since Martinelli has struggled with his form recently. With Leandro Trossard also available for that left flank role, though versatile enough to play across the front line, there's fierce competition for places in the squad. Despite the frustration around Martinelli's recent performances, it's important to remember that he's only 1 year older than Williams. Looking at the stats, Williams stands out for his creativity, while Martinelli tends to be the bigger goal threat. Both players bring different qualities to the table. Martinelli thrives in high-tempo games that require direct pace and running at the defense, while Williams adds a level of unpredictability to his build-up play, making him harder to read in tight situations. They could complement each other well as rotational options, with each being selected based on the specific needs of a match. However, whether this setup would work in practice is still uncertain. Former Mikel Arteta transfer target just showed Arsenal what they are missing in the Champions League. Arsenal were linked with several potential signings throughout the recent summer transfer window. Mikel Arteta strengthened his defense and midfield with the acquisitions of Ricardo Calafiori and Mikel Mourinho. Additionally, Neto joined on loan to provide backup for David Raya in goal. There was also a clear focus on bolstering the options in wide areas, and Raheem Sterling eventually made the move to the Emirates on loan from Chelsea, adding more depth to Arteta's attack. However, the decision to sign Sterling hasn't paid off as hoped. The 30-year-old has struggled to make any meaningful impact in North London and seems far removed from the player he once was, making the loan deal look like a misstep for Arsenal. Arsenal were linked with Michael Olise during the summer, and after seeing what he's achieved since, they've got even more reason to regret missing out on the former Crystal Palace winger. The 22-year-old ultimately made the move to Bayern Munich, and he's been showing his true potential with the German Giants. In Bayern's Champions League match against Schalke on Tuesday, Olise delivered a jaw-dropping solo goal that showcased just how special he is. In the dying moments of the game, Olise picked up the ball far from goal, and, with his signature smooth style, effortlessly weaved through Schalke's defense. He danced past several defenders before calmly dummying the goalkeeper and rolling the ball into the net. Since leaving the Premier League, Olise has been in stunning form, with 9 goals and 7 assists in 21 appearances for Bayern across all competitions. His performances are surely making Arsenal wish they had moved quicker to bring him to the Emirates. Should Arsenal have pushed harder to sign Olise? Aside from Bukayo Saka, who has been as brilliant as ever, Arsenal's wingers have struggled to find consistency this season. Raheem Sterling's struggles have been well documented, while Gabriel Martinelli recently faced heavy criticism from fans after a poor performance against Fulham. On top of that, Leandro Trossard has been unpredictable whenever called upon. With the failure to sign Michael Olise, or another player of his quality, in the summer, Arteta's side have become overly reliant on Saka. The decision not to push harder for another winger to share the load now looks like it could come back to bite them this season. Olise's recent performances, especially his stunning solo goal for Bayern Munich, have highlighted exactly what Arsenal missed out on. Now, Arteta will be hoping one of his wingers can step up and deliver in Arsenal's Champions League match against Monaco on Wednesday evening. Well folks, those were the main news for today. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated on everything happening with our beloved team, you know what to do. Subscribe to the channel now and hit the bell icon so you don't miss any updates. Thanks for joining us, and until the next video.